Hello, and welcome back to Pokemon Emerald. The last few runs have been somewhat hard, so today I wanted to take a little bit of a breather and use the Gengar, the original Ghost-type Pokemon. He is loved by many people and is considered quite strong, so I hope I will not have that hard of a time. Gengar has many good things going on for him. Ghost is a very strong type, especially early into the game, since most enemies will use normal attacks. Also, he has a massive special attack stat. 130 base is one of the highest I have ever used on the channel. Give me a second to remind everybody the rules. I can only use my starter in combat, I can't use any consumables in battle, I can't raise my evasion in any way, and I can't use cheats or glitches. Now for the bad aspects of this run. As you can see, our starting moveset is not great, and unfortunately I can't hit normal types either, so I had to spend a lot of time against the first Zigzagoon waiting to struggle. Another aspect that worries me a little is that Gengar's move pool is not that wide, and ghost moves in this generation are physical, so stuff like Shadow Ball, it's not going to be doing as much damage as you might expect. Lastly, poison type is just bad, so it will hinder us a bit, but thankfully we have the levitate ability, so at least we don't have to worry about the ground moves. After a lot of struggle, we are finally through the first encounter of the game. The next stop is the rival fight. Fortunately, her starter is not immune to Ghost, so this one was a lot more straightforward. I realize now that Trico might be the weakest of the three against Gengar, but trust me, it does not matter. All of them stand no chance. After some walking, we can do the grunt fight in the forest. This one is sort of dangerous. Puchiena does not know bite yet, so I'm not worried about that, but he resists lick, so I can't do much damage to him, and once he starts using sand attacks, my DPS will be even lower. Thankfully, I can take it out before running out of PPs, otherwise I would have had to struggle again, and nobody wants to see that. Although, now that I think about it, a struggle-only run would be pretty cool, if possible. I'll have to do some research about it. Once I have finally defeated the dog, I can train around the next town before facing Roxanne. I wanted level 21 because at that point I learn Nightshade, a move that always deals damage equal to my level. My only other option was to lick Roxanne's Pokémon, but as previously mentioned, Ghost is physical and they have lots of defense, so I don't think that would have worked very well. Even with this move, the fight was sort of close. My defense and HP are very low, so even if they don't have much attack, their stab rock moves hurt quite a bit. Soon after obtaining the first badge, I can take on the optional fight against May before leaving the town. Even though she has a new Pokémon, it is not a normal type, so both of them are defeated in a couple of Nightshades each. In the meantime, I also learned Curse. It's a risky move, but it's the only thing I have that hits normal types, so for now it will have to do. After humiliating our rival again, I proceeded to the second gym. Usually I skip Brawly since he can be a menace, but fortunately for me, he only has fighting type moves that deal damage, and since we are a ghost, we can completely ignore them. The fight does take a while. Nightshade is already starting to fall off a bit, and all of his super potions and berries don't help, but it's not like we are in any danger. So after a while his sumo wrestler is defeated too, and we can move on with our lives. Once we made our way to Slateport, we have to take on more Team Aqua grunts. Those guys are actually more dangerous than most things we fought so far. Their Carvanas have bite, and if I use Shadow Punch against them, I will take rough skin damage. Fortunately, their levels are low and the Pokémons are not the greatest, so we can defeat them without any issues. As usual, we have to sit for a while to listen to Maxi. No, wait, this one is Archie, I think. But anyway, after we are done with that, I took a bit of time to defeat trainers, because the next encounter with May could be dangerous. Her starter now knows Pursuit, which is super effective, but a Shadow Punch takes care of that problem. In the next village, we have to defeat the third gym leader. I was not expecting Watson to be too hard, but luck had other plans. I hit myself 3 times in a row, or something like that, and lost once. That's uncalled for. It's not like the run has been a breeze up until now. At least the second attempt was not so unlucky, so I did not have to drop too many losses around here. I was a bit surprised that Gengar's time was quite high for this point in the game. That's because of all the struggle in the early levels, but I'm sure he can make up for it. Manectric almost sent me back to the Poké Center because of paralysis, but I am glad that did not happen. With Watson defeated, we can use Rock Smash outside of combat and explore more of the region, until we come up to the 2 evil teams having some beef. Next, we have to reach Maxi, the Team Magma leader, for a fight, since we want to stop whatever he is up to. At this point, I was expecting to be able to teach the Shockwave TM that we got from Watson, but Gengar can't learn it. That's weird. It would make sense if he could not learn any electric moves, but that's not the case. He can learn Thunderbolt and Thunder, so what's up with that? Anyway, I am a bit salty because a special move would have made this fight simpler, but ultimately it was not that bad. Up next is Flannery. I lost once to her too, partially because of infatuation, but mostly because of overheat damage. This worried me quite a bit, because that's quite consistent, so I can't really rely on her messing up. I either had to get lucky or maybe change up my moveset. Well, the next attempt is the successful one, so I did not have to think too hard about it. Once we reached Camerupt, a crit helped me take down the tortoise without her trainer using any potions for an easy but lucky win. Next is our dad Norman, who uses normal types. This might seem easy, but he has a couple of dark moves, so to even out the odds I bought Thunderbolt. I was not too worried though. Dark is special and his Pokémons are mostly physical attackers, so it was not too rough. In the end, Slacking used Yawn instead of attacking me, which would be a good move if the remaining Linoon had anything to hit me with. Instead, I took a short rest and proceeded to take down his last Pokémon to earn the 5th badge. I guess I should mention the fight against the Team Aqua admin since I included her in the video, but it's already over, so it will be for the next time. Before we can reach the next town, we are stopped by May for another mandatory fight. This time her team is quite a bit more powerful, but I outscaled her a long time ago, and since half of her team is weak to electricity, they really don't stand a chance. That is almost the same thing that happens with Winona. Her team is mostly made out of Pokémons that are weak to Thunderbolt, so I was not expecting her to put up much of a resistance. The only thing that leaves is Altaria, but since I have Levitate, I don't have to worry about Earthquake, and the worst she can do is Aerial Ace, which barely tickles. With the new shiny badge in our pocket, we can make our way to the next town over, where we can entertain ourselves with the last fight against May. This one is optional, so you can always skip it, but I like to give her some more screen time, even though she does not really deserve it, considering her still unevolved Slugma. Anyhow, after defeating her once more, we have to make our way to the Pokémon graveyard, where we are given the key to access Max's hideout. I guess he lost it when he stopped by to grab the wrong orb. Classic villain mistake. After some dangerous spelunking very close to lava, we can reach him as he awakens Groudon. The second fight against Maxi is a bit different than the previous one. This time I have Thunderbolt that makes quick work of his first two Pokémons, but I am forced to use Shadow Punch for Camerapt. This made me realize that Gengar does not learn Shadow Ball on his own, so I had to stop by the graveyard again to pick it up. Also, here is the second Team Aqua admin. As you can imagine, he is not much better than the first one. I did not play much of the newer games, but for what I know, they made the trainer fights a bit harder, which is good in my opinion. The next fight is against Tate and Liza, and this one worried me quite a bit. While it's true that I am super effective, so are they, and I am only one Pokemon, so at best I can take out one of them, while the other can use Psychic on me. Fortunately, Claydol wasted most of his turns, making my life a lot easier, and I was able to defeat them in the first attempt. After obtaining the penultimate badge, we have some more business to do on the island. We have to take down Maxi for the third time. In this occasion, we are helped by Steven in a 2v2. This time, this fight is not that dangerous. I only need to be a bit careful about the mighty hyenas because I believe they have a crunch, but as long as I target them with a thunderbolt, they should go down in one hit. Also, you might have noticed, or maybe I should say not noticed, the layout flickering. I mostly fixed the problem. There are still a couple of occasions where it happens, but it's a lot less frequent. I'll look more into it and should be able to fix it for the next video. After finally putting an end to the Team Magma's schemes, we are given the Dive HM and now can use it to reach Archie, who is about to awaken the other legendary of the region. The fight against him, it's a blink and you miss it moment. I just spammed Thunderbolt and his team disappeared before my eyes. Even though we defeated him, that's unfortunately not quite good enough for the game, and the red orb activates on its own to wake up Kyogre. As you know, this is the moment where I have to go fetch Rayquaza, and if you can, please take a second to like, subscribe, ring the bell, maybe share and comment too. That helps a lot with the algorithm. It's finally time for the last gym fight. All of Juan's Pokémons are water type, and since I have Thunderbolt, this fight should not be too dangerous. I am still a bit worried about the Kingdra, since I know I will not be able to one-shot it, and it's always a lottery whether or not the fight drags out for a long time because of his evasion boosting strategy. This time I was able to take care of it without too many issues, so we can move on to the victory road with only 2 resets. My level is still kinda low, but that's because I have skipped a lot of trainer fights. I would like to not do them if I can, to save some time. The fight against Wally turned out to be surprisingly dangerous. I don't have too many things to deal with his team, but I am not awful at it either. Well, turns out that our old friend Magneton had other plans. It confuses me, and while I hit myself, it fires off some powerful thunderbolts, ultimately leaving me with only 20 HP. That was a very close call, but I can snap out of it before Oblivion and defeat the rest of the team without taking any more hits. I don't know if you can find persim berries around the region, but I might have to start grabbing them to heal confusion from now on. After some grinding and a small change to our moveset, we are ready, I hope, to take on the league. The first member is Sidney, who is a bit dangerous since he specializes in dark types. Fortunately, he does not like to do straight up damage, so the type matchup is not that impactful. It's a bit annoying that I can't hit his grass dark Pokémons for neutral damage, but I don't have many options. Sure, I could have used Brick Break, but between Intimidate and my bad attack, I don't think it would have done much either. Ultimately, all of my complaining is for naught because I can get through him without taking that much damage and with 0 resets. Phoebe is next, and she is a bit more fun. I am mostly going to spam Shadow Ball against her, since it's super effective and stab and whatnot. I hope that most of her team dies in one hit, because otherwise this could get dangerous. That is mostly the case. Seblaye lives since she has no weaknesses, but only tries to unsuccessfully dodge my next attacks. Already halfway through the Elite Four, and our next fight is against Glacia. Since most of her team is water type, I spammed Thunderbolt and hoped for the best. She is a bit more problematic than it seems, because her Pokémons are quite tanky and the Glalis no crunch. Somehow I get 2 crits back to back against the 2 ice faces, so that was not a problem. The rest of her Pokémons are one-shotted by powerful Thunderbolts, so that's that for Glacia. Drake, not the singer, it's next, and I have to say I got wrecked a bit. With no super effective moves, his Pokémons can generally survive a hit and hurt me back. From the previous 2 losses I learned some stuff, and applying that knowledge to the next match was very useful. I can't take full credit since I got very lucky too, but come on, let me tune my own horn for a bit. Not sure why Altaria and Kingdra both decided to use Dragon Dance, but I'm grateful for that since it allows me to take them down without being hit once. After defeating Drake, we are almost at the end line. We only have the champion left. Once again, I had a happy little accident against him that caused me to reset. In the second attempt, I was a bit more careful. It might seem easy because I have Thunderbolt, but many of his Pokémons are able to survive a hit either because of the type or because of their bulk, and all of those hits add up after a while. I was expecting something like this to happen, that's why I relearned Hypnosis. By putting them to sleep, it gives me a few more turns to take them down, and that's just what I needed to slowly make my way through his team. Unfortunately, it does not hit very often, so I still ended up losing a lot of HP in the process, but what's important is that I did not run out. And with a couple more zaps of lightning, I can finally defeat the last of his Pokémons and take home the win with a not so high number of resets, but it took a little longer than what I was hoping for. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please remember to like, share, subscribe and ring the bell. If I don't ask too much, also leave a comment with any feedback or videos ideas. As you can see, I always answer them. It might take a while because YouTube does not send me the notifications, but sooner or later you'll have a response. See you next week. Bye!